Hello, this is Timothy Dolan, long-term policy impact analyst. Today it's going to be, I'm going to try to refrain from all Trump all the time. I will say though that there are impacts coming up, and perhaps lead with a plug for Michael Lewis's new book that comes out shortly. Dealing with what he calls the fifth risk, which is the populating of the higher levels of the federal government with Trump supporters who have no interest and or even hostile to the very agencies they are charged with overseeing. I think the implications of that are pretty startling. According to Lewis, 20% of senior civil servants in the federal government have now left over the past year and a half, which is a huge brain drain, and is going to be very hard, I think, to recover from that lack of expertise and for the internal wrecking of the government that is taking place as we speak. There was an NPR interview. It was, I think it ended, as the book apparently ends, with a comment from a woman who was the wife of a farmer who had hung himself in a barn. And the quote from that woman was, "I had prayed for a tornado to take the barn. Little did I know it would also take the house." So I think that's where we are right now with this current administration, that so many people who wanted to shake up the government and expose it, expose their hostility and frustration with government, rightly or wrongly placed, are now perhaps going to find that the results are far more severe than they initially thought. Let me close with this, that I am fairly certain, nobody can predict the future, I'm certainly not going to do that, but I would say that all signs indicate to me that we will see sooner than later double-digit inflation, simply because of the cumulative effect of bad trade policy, of reckless spending, of ever higher debt that will eventually build upon itself to an inflationary upward spiral that the Federal Reserve, I believe, will find it very difficult to suppress. This has huge costs for coming generations. We have a sugar high now. Stocks are doing well. I'm not complaining about that. My portfolio is fine. But I am also fairly certain that these things won't last. It's a sugar high, and there's a long game. And this administration has been playing a very short game, and chickens will come home to roost. And on that note, buckle up.